Welcome to episode 7 of Full Court Magic. I am your host, Don Strouble, and for the Orlando Magic heading into the All-Star break, 3 out of 4 is just going to have to do as the Magic fall to the Milwaukee Bucks 116 to 108 here on Wednesday night. The general consensus after this game is that it's difficult to beat the same team twice in a row. And after thoroughly beating the Bucks on Monday by a 118 to 99 victory, Milwaukee certainly did not want to incur another loss to the same team going into the All-Star break, and it did not. Cam Thomas was an absolute problem for the Magic after they held him in check in his first game with the Bucks. Monday night, Thomas went for just, I believe, 5 points in 13 minutes. Well, tonight he scored 34 points on 12 of 20 shooting in just over 25 minutes off the bench. And that's kind of the Cam Thomas experience. I mean, the Magic have seen this from him before when he was with the Brooklyn Nets. He is a guy who can score in bunches. And while he may be a flawed player, once he gets hot, it's hard to slow him down. And that was the case tonight. But there wasn't a lot of hung heads in this loss. The Magic, once again, they had a 4-game home stretch. Were able to win 3 of those. And while it would have been nice to go 4-0 in this homestand heading into the break, they understand that that there's going to be a chance for them to really put things together here down the home stretch of the season. And as Coach Jamal Mosley put it, it's going to be a sprint for this team down the home stretch of the season. Going to start off the post All-Star break with a road trip playing in Sacramento. And there's several back-to-backs. I mean, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. So this gives the guys a chance to rest their legs and come back strong because apart from Jace Richardson, who is competing in the slam dunk contest, no one on the roster is participating in All-Star weekend here. And so some much needed time off for these guys to really just reset, regroup, and get ready to make a playoff push here down the home stretch of the season in the latter half. And as Desmond Bain put it, who we'll get to Bain in a second, he had a big game. He believes that the Magic's best basketball is still ahead of them. And this home stretch was exactly what Orlando needed to do, especially against teams that, 2 of which in Brooklyn and Utah, who are bottom feeders of their respective conferences, and then a Milwaukee team who, without Giannis, has been struggling. So you had to get a few of those. You had to, especially given how tight of a race it is in the Eastern Conference, and the Magic at this moment, and especially before this, were closer to being a play-in team than a top-seeded team. So this was very important for them to be able to knock these games out. And yeah, Desmond Bain was. This was a good Desmond Bain night. 11 of 17 from the field, 8 of 11 from 3, just scorching from the perimeter. And that's exactly what you're going to need from him uh, down the home stretch of the season and into the playoffs. That's why you mortgage your draft picks to go get him. Uh, and a couple of role players as well in Contavious Caldwell Pope and Cole Anthony. And I've talked about this ad nauseum for months now. These are the reasons why you go and get a Desmond Bain. And he's played well all season, but tonight was definitely one of those performances where it's like, okay, this guy can take over if we need him to. And he has demonstrated this before. But this was a good game. But unfortunately for the Magic and all of the Magic faithful, that it ended in a loss. But there again, it's okay. Like it happens. This is the NBA. It's a long 82 game grind, and not everything is going to go exactly as teams want it to go. And the Magic are in prime position to, finish this thing out strong. Franz Wagner's finally back, though he did not have a good game, still getting his legs under him. Maybe we can start to see what the Magic look like at full strength, or as close to full strength as you're going to get 50 plus games into the season. Jalen Suggs has been a really important catalyst for this team. 3 out of 4 games in this homestand, he logged 10 plus assists, which is big because I've talked about Suggs, seeming more naturally as a two guard, given his size, defensive prowess, and he's just never really like a floor general, especially in his first couple of years. But this shows us a glimpse that you can rely on him to be your point guard. I mean, he is finding the open man. He's reading the floor well, and guys are a beneficiary of his playmaking, and they're not letting him down, which has been good. Another 10 assists tonight, another double double actually. 16 and 10, and another 4 steal and 3 block games. So just being an absolute two-way menace. And so a healthy Jalen Suggs is absolutely invaluable. And I know I'm speaking the obvious here, but it truly cannot be understated uh, what his capabilities mean to this team when he is available and on the floor. And we're going to see that with Franz Wagner eventually as well. Let's not be mistaken here. Give him the All-Star break and a few more games, maybe even less than that, to get under his belt, and he's going to be back to Franz Wagner that we were seeing in the beginning of the season before the injuries. I mean, just his first game back, a cool 14 points off the bench, 60% from the field, and so that tandem of him and his brother off the bench, each had 14 respectively, against the Bucks on Monday night. That was really good, and maybe now with time from the All-Star break, he can be inserted back into the starting lineup if the Magic choose to do that. It this wasn't one of Anthony Black's stronger games with 13 points, but it was still an efficient game. 5 of 10 overall, 3 of 5 from the field. And while I am of the mindset that Franz Wagner is still the superior talent, Anthony Black's ascension cannot be ignored. Um, and it's going to be hard to say, like, what do you do with him? Like at the very least, he's got to just go back to being a sixth man, getting heavy minutes in that six-man role because he's deserved it and he's valuable as an offensive catalyst and spark plug for this squad. And I think that just so many moving parts are going to be so important for the team, and just in terms of what they're able to do um, going forward, where it's not going to be entirely easy. So in fact, you know what, guys, we're going to go and we're going to look at the Magic schedule. Uh, so yeah, so you've got a 4 game road trip that starts with the Sacramento Kings on February 19th, post All-Star break. And then you go and you play a good Phoenix Suns team on the 21st. That's part of a back-to-back. I was mentioning those back-to-backs earlier. The 22nd is against a Clippers team who, even after the James Harden trade and, maybe Darius Garland makes his debut, maybe he doesn't. This is a Clippers team that is in the midst of a resurgence after their season, quite frankly, looked dead in the water a couple of months ago. But Kawhi Leonard is playing at an all-time high, and this Clippers team is looking poised to make a playoff run, at bare minimum, enter into one of those play-in spots in the West. So that's not going to be easy. And then 2 days later, you've got the Lakers. We've seen what they've been able to do this season, playing pretty solid basketball. not going to be easy when you're going up against the likes of Luka Doncic and LeBron and the rest of the pieces that they have. Then you come home uh, and you host Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets, who've been playing very, very well. Uh, and that concludes the month of February. So, Jamal Mosley post game called it a sprint after the All Star break, and that's exactly what it's shaping up to be. And the Magic, Desmond Bain believes that their best basketball is ahead of them. They're going to have to play their best basketball going forward, because then you kick off March with a home game against the Detroit Pistons, who are atop the East. And then you get a break, I guess, against the Washington Wizards, but you know, you never know what can happen with these teams. I mean, even teams that are seemingly tanking can sometimes pull out a win. And so y- no part of the schedule moving forward, I'm just looking at these games, and no part of the schedule moving forward can really be slept on, especially giving the precarious nature of where the Magic stand. 28-25 after tonight's loss, so you don't have a lot of leeway there. You don't have the luxury that a Detroit or an Oklahoma City out west, oh, you can lose a few games and you're still comfortably seated. No, that's not going to be the case whatsoever. But at the end of the day, like I said, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Going into the All-Star break here, especially when the Magic were perpetually stuck in that cycle of win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So to rattle off a few here and gain some momentum and consistency, yeah, you end it with a loss. But I mean, to win 75% of your games at home going into this break, that it's important. It's important. And now the real tests will start to begin here as teams, vie for seeding and start to play a more intense brand of basketball as the regular season winds down. I am looking forward to it. I will be bringing you guys coverage from my home while the team is on the road, and I'm so excited to get back in this building when they host the Houston Rockets. I'm gonna be on here doing another show beforehand. I know I've been running these solo. I got to try and get my man Andrew Cherico back on here, so we can have some discourse about the state of the team. And once again, thank you guys so much for your support, as always. It really means a lot as we try to grow this thing. And if you've been keeping up on YouTube, please go and join our roundtable community, Orlando Magic on Roundtable. As I've said before, completely free, a great way for uh, fans to interact and join in on the conversation. You can make community posts, you can leave comments. It's a really involved way to join the discussion and let us know your thoughts. So once again, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you guys after the All-Star break. But please keep up with our sites because we will be producing stories regardless. And yeah, it should be a fun home stretch of the season. So for full court magic, excuse me, for full court magic, I am Don Struble. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time.